Hi there, it's Gabriel here, SEO Manager at Hike SEO, and in this video we'll be talking about site speed and how to improve page loading speed for your SEO. So what you'll learn in this video is what is site speed all about and why it's important for your overall SEO strategy. You'll also learn about Core Web Vitals, what it's about and some of the aspects that it consists of. And then we'll talk about some practical steps on how to improve your site speed, and then talk about some tools and techniques you can use as well. So what is site speed? Site speed refers to how quickly users can view and interact with your website. So it encompasses aspects like page load time, time to first byte, and interactivity. And we'll learn more about what each of these things are shortly. So page load time is basically the time it takes for a web page to fully load in a browser. And that can vary based on many different factors. And the longer it takes, the more impatient a visitor gets, and they may leave the website completely if it takes too long for it to load. And that's the downside of having a slow website speed. Time to first byte, or TTFB, basically refers to the duration between a user's request to the server, so as soon as they click a link and to visit a web page, and the first byte of the data received that the server sends to the browser. So the first byte could be like the first pixel or the first element that loads on that page. Interactivity refers to how long it takes for a page to become interactive and responsive to user input. So sometimes, even though some elements have loaded, you might need to wait a bit longer before you can start interacting with that page. So why is site speed so important for your SEO? Well, basically it leads to improved user experience. So users expect quick access to information, and as machines get faster and faster and internet speeds get faster and faster, users' patience goes down and they expect quick instant results. So they're more likely to abandon sites that take too long to load. So studies have actually shown that a delay of even 1 second in page load time can result in a 7% reduction in conversions. And this is research done by BigCommerce. So it's really interesting to know that even 1 second can make a huge difference. So it's really important to address site speed when it comes to your SEO performance and traffic engagement and conversions. Higher search engine rankings is another thing. So faster websites tend to rank higher in search engine results pages, and Google has explicitly stated that site speed is a ranking factor for both desktop and mobile searches. Another factor is increased crawl rate, and so a faster website actually allows bots to crawl more pages within a given time frame, and that can lead to better indexing in a shorter amount of time. And this is especially important for larger websites with numerous pages, like thousands and thousands of pages, and that ensures more comprehensive coverage in the Google index. So you've probably heard the term Core Web Vitals, or at least came across it somewhere, and you're wondering, what is it actually? Basically, it's a set of specific factors that are considered important for the overall user experience of a website. And these metrics are part of Google's page experience signals, and they are crucial for SEO. So let's dive into each piece. So the first piece is the largest contentful paint, or LCP. And that does sound like a mouthful, and that's okay, but we'll explain what that is. So LCP basically measures the loading performance of a page, and it marks the point at which the main content of the page has likely loaded, ideally within 2.5 seconds or less. So here's a quick illustration of what LCP is. So you can see the page loads, maybe the background loads, then a bit of the text loads, and finally the LCP, the full contentful paint has loaded, and you can start interacting with the website. First input delay, or FID. So this is basically a total blocking time is often used in place of first input delay, depending on which tool or tools you're using, but pretty much the same thing. And it measures interactivity. Basically, it quantifies the time from when a user first interacts with a page to the time when the browser responds to that interaction, with an optimal value of less than 100 milliseconds. So the total blocking time, or TPD, here's an illustration of these. There's two actual scenarios, so scenario A and scenario B. Now, even though the overall non-interactive time, where the user can't really interact with the page, is a lot smaller, overall it's about the same because it stretches out over 5,000 milliseconds or 5 seconds. So both of these scenarios would actually push back time to the interactive time by the same amount, even though there's overall less non-interactive. So you can see the total blocking time is about the same, even though there's two different scenarios. Now there's cumulative layout shift, or CLS, and this basically measures visual stability of a page, and it calculates the sum total of all individual layout shift scores for unexpected layout shifts that occur during the lifespan of the page, and this aims for a score of less than 0.1. So what does that actually mean? Basically, here's a quick image of that. You can see that when you load a page, all of a sudden it jumps down when an image has loaded. So that means there is a cumulative layout shift going on, whereas ideally the image frame would have been loaded at the same time and there's no shifting. So the less, the better. So let's talk about some practical steps for site speed. Firstly, and most importantly, images tend to be the biggest culprit here, and it's important to use image compression tools like TinyPNG or JPEG Optimizer to reduce file sizes without compromising too much quality. And consider also using next-gen formats like WebP, which preserve the quality quite high, but the file size is significantly smaller. Also, minimize the HTTP requests, the number of these, because each element on your website, such as images, scripts, and style sheets, requires a separate HTTP request or a request to the server. Hey, I need this file. Can you send it to me? So the more of those, the slower the loading. And minimizing these requests can speed up your site. So you can combine multiple CSS files into one to reduce the number of scripts. You can use CSS sprites. So this is something where it's a CSS file and it combines images into one file, and that makes the number of HTTP requests, it reduces it drastically. So this is quite technical. So if you're not sure how to do this or what this is, you can always speak to your developer who can make those changes for you. Enable browsing caching. This is really important. So browser caching stores parts of your website in your local browser. So when you visit again, it loads the local files rather than having to request it from the server. So it doesn't need to load the entire page again. So you can configure the caching settings through your server or a plugin. Let's say you're using WordPress. You can enable browser caching through that or any other CMS that supports that. You can use asynchronous loading for CSS and JavaScript. I know this sounds quite technical, but basically, typically when files are loaded, they're loaded synchronously, so one after the other. So the server requests a file, it waits for that file to load, then it requests the next one, and then the browser requests the next one, and so forth. And that can increase the time quite long, whereas asynchronous is basically loads in the background. All the other scripts and files can load before that, and then things load at the same time. So it doesn't have to be one after the other, and that can speed up the time. So doing this asynchronously allows other parts of your website to load simultaneously, and again, that will speed up the page loading time. You can defer the loading of non-essential scripts until after the main content has loaded. So heavy scripts like tracking scripts or any sort of code that is quite large in terms of the size of it, it can be deferred until much later. So the person browsing the site can start reading the content, interacting with it before they have to wait for scripts that don't really relate to them. Optimize server response time. So you can use tools like Google's PageSpeed Insights to identify any server issues if you have a slower server. You can upgrade your hosting plan if that's a bottlenecking factor, or you can use a faster DNS provider, or even employ a content delivery network or CDN to enhance performance. And all of these tools and things can help improve your loading time if those are factors or issues currently. Implement lazy loading. So lazy loading is basically delaying the loading of images and other elements until they are actually needed. Instead of loading all the images at once on a page, you can basically defer them, and basically any images below the fold or the point where it's below the screen that you're currently seeing won't actually load until you scroll down, and that can improve the initial load time and also save on bandwidth, especially on mobile devices. So let's talk about some tools and techniques that you can use to improve your site speed. You can use Google PageSpeed Insights, a great free tool, and it provides detailed insights and suggestions for improving your site speed. And it scores your site on a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 being really, really slow, terrible performance, and 100 being the best it can possibly be. And it provides specific recommendations for both mobile and desktop versions of your site. Then we have GTmetrix, which is a fantastic web tool, and it offers a comprehensive analysis of your site's performance. It also provides actionable recommendations for improvement as well. So fantastic tools. You can use this in combination as well. And here's a quick screenshot of GTmetrix and how it looks. It gives you a GTmetrix grade score, tells you the performance percentage, the structure, LCP, time to first byte, cumulative layout shift, all of these things from Core Web Vitals it brings in as well. So a lot of great tools on here, and it gives you some details on exactly how to improve that as well. Pingdom is another one. It tracks your website's uptime and speed, and it provides detailed reports on performance metrics and also offers suggestions for optimization. So here's a quick screenshot of Pingdom and how it works. So you can see over time if there were any issues with your server, or if you've updated some content, if that had an effect on your site speed and whatnot. So thanks so much for watching this video about site speed. If you have any sort of questions about it, please do comment below. And check out Hike SEO, a fantastic all-in-one SEO platform that's designed from the ground up for absolute beginners and small business owners, as well as agencies. And it has some amazingly smart AI features that reduce the amount of time that you need to implement your SEO. Things that you can improve your SEO quite quickly, and also save you time, save you money from having to engage different agencies that charge too much. You can basically use one software to do it all, and it has a great action engine to actually help you implement these in the time that you have available during the week. Also, one more thing really exciting is the on-site optimizer, and this allows you to make these SEO changes directly on the site as you see it, regardless of the content management system that you use. Saves you time, and it's a click, 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 really, really easy way to do it. So definitely check out Hike SEO. Click on the link below, and I'll see you there. All right, see you in the next video. Take care.